Shut up, shut up.
Years of living on this planet, I've experienced some pretty interesting things, okay? Some of these things were so interesting, I had to make a YouTube channel about it called Luna. I don't know if you ever heard of it. You know, this video is totally not on that channel, but anyway, there's this one thing in particular that I was thinking about today, and I still look back on this and go, what the hell happened? So let's just jump into it, because I really have no other way to start this. So today's story time takes
Did I
place in
get bait?
2016.
Alright, let me see.
Now, for the most part, that entire year was pretty cool, okay? Pretty
Okay,
fun.
okay. He's lit with it.
Just chilled with my friends a lot. A lot of good times came out of that year. But there was one time in particular, well, a few actually, but this one in particular was probably the worst thing that happened to me that year. So I was in a relationship in 2016 with this girl. Well, this
God damn. 480p
Let's
better.
call her
Yep. 480p
Olivia.
better. Yep.
Okay, I had been
Yeah, but
dating
I'm at
Olivia
480p.
for
Never
about
mind anything
a
else.
month at this point. Not a very
Yeah.
long relationship. Literally, I think not even a month. I think we were coming up on a month, so probably like
Mm-hmm.
20 days or
Damn.
so. You know, nothing crazy. And I had met her through a friend of
I'm still
mine, my
listening.
friend Kyle. She was his sister's best friend, so like I met her at Kyle's house one day when she was hanging out with Kyle's sister. Basically, I met her through a friend. We hit it off really well.
Okay,
Started dating. The first 2 to 3 weeks were great, nothing out of the ordinary. But then, like most of my relationships, it went to shit. Okay, so
Chill. Yo,
one
that's not
day in
chill.
2016, I am hanging out with Olivia.
It's
We
not
were
just
hanging
you, bro. It's not just you.
out in her basement watching movies. She
Damn, he dropped the name?
lived in
Okay.
her basement, but her parents like finished it. Like they made it really, really nice looking, and it's pretty much just an apartment basically. It was
Okay, in
super
the
nice,
basement,
right?
though.
And yeah, we'd hang out there most nights.
Alright.
And I was down there with her, and I remember in about an hour she had to go to work. She worked really late nights at this one
Yeah.
store. She worked the graveyard shift, so basically
Uh-huh.
every night at like I think 10 or 11, she would go in and then stay there all night, like restocking the shelves and stuff. So she was getting ready to go in, and usually what would happen
He's
was
like that.
is she would go into work and then I'd go home, or sometimes I would fall asleep and just stay the
Oh,
night
never mind,
at
I
her
like
house
that.
in her
Chill,
basement.
you can't disrespect the
She'd
nigga
come
skin
home the
like that.
next
Chill,
morning
chill.
when I'd wake up and we'd hang out for a bit, right? So that was the plan on this night. She was gonna go
God,
to
it's gonna
work,
tell him a
and I was just
story.
gonna crash in her basement. But right as she was about to go to work, we got into a fight. A pretty big verbal disagreement, I would say, okay?
Yeah.
Now you're probably wondering, Austin, what happened? Why'd you get into an argument with her? Well, I was just sitting there on her bed, watching movies with her, like we always would, and she was scrolling Instagram, and I didn't know this, but she was on my profile scrolling my tagged photos, and she saw that a girl tagged me in a photo of one of her selfies. Now,
my
keep in
God.
mind, I have
Who's mad
200,000
about that
or
kid?
180,000 or something followers on there. So people tag me in shit all the time. Like, it's nothing new to get tagged in random photos. Sometimes it's girl selfies, sometimes it's a car, sometimes it's someone wearing my merch. Like, people tag me in stuff all the time. I don't know why, they just like to, and that's cool. I like it. I like looking through what people tag me in. I do it quite often. But she didn't like this.
Oh, okay.
She saw that a girl tagged me in one of her selfies, and she immediately thought that I was like
she looking
dating this
for a
girl.
reason.
And she starts like basically yelling at me. She's like, "Who's this girl, huh? Do you know her? Have you dated her before? Is she your ex? Like, you don't follow her. Why does she tag you and stuff?" I'm like, "You know that I do YouTube, right?" She goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Then you should know. People randomly tag me and shit all the time. Look through the
Yeah.
tags. There's a
Is he
million
going for
things in there
headshots
that
on
I
me?
have nothing to do with." She goes, "Yeah, but this is a girl's selfie, and I don't see a lot of
I'm gonna be
those."
going for headshots on
And I was like, "Well, I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes I get tagged in girls' selfies. It's not the most common thing, but when it does, I'm not surprised." And she was like, "So you just, are okay with this?" And I was like, "Yeah, who cares? Like, they're not doing anything wrong." And then I look at the photo and I'm like, "You know what? Let me see your phone for a sec." So she hands me her phone and I click on the photo and there's like 15 other people tagged. I wasn't even the only one.
Alright, no, she's bad. She's bad.
I'm like, "Look at this. She tagged a bunch of people. I'm not the only one. So like, why are you
Damn,
accusing
no, how you just hit that
me
shot?
of
Alright.
talking
It's
to
not
this
the focus
girl?"
of the
And she was
video,
like, "You know what?
man.
I don't want to argue with you right now. I'm leaving." And she goes upstairs. She storms upstairs actually, very, very angrily, and slams the basement door. And then I hear a click sound, like she locked it. Keep in mind,
What?
guys, the basement door locked from the outside only. So she locked me down there.
No.
So I ran upstairs as fast as I could and I start pounding on the door. And I was like, "Hey, you locked me in on accident. Hey, you locked me in." because I thought she did it on accident. You know, sometimes out of habit, I'll lock doors behind me. So I figured she just, shut the basement door and locked it. And I was like, hey, you locked me in on accident. And then I hear her laughing. I can hear her laughing in the background behind the door. And I was like, hey, unlock
Why are you laughing, though?
it. And she goes, why don't you sit down there till I get home and think about what you said to me? And she leaves.
What? What?
This psychotic motherfucker
Wh-
locked
is
me
that-
in a basement because I disagreed with her. So immediately,
She said,
I
think
started
about
knocking
it.
on the door,
She said,
right?
nah, you
'Cause,
and Tom
like
out
her parents are
for
probably
4
home.
hours.
It's late at night. They're probably upstairs in their room. They'll hear me knocking. And I'm pounding on that door.
Oh,
Nobody's
yeah.
coming. I'm yelling out like, hello, hello, I'm locked down here. Can you guys come get me? No one. No one at all. Keep in mind, it's like 11 at fucking night. Her parents should be
She
home.
going to work at 11 at night. Where does she work?
I keep pounding on the door, right? I guess they have the most fucking soundproof ceiling ever or something because they just couldn't hear me all the way upstairs.
Shit, man, I
Pounding
wouldn't doubt it. They got an apartment in the basement. You
on
fine.
that door and yelling. Nobody comes and gets me. So I end up texting my girlfriend, right? And I was like, hey, can you please come unlock the basement door? I'm stuck down here. And she replies with a laughing emoji. And at this point, I had two choices. I lay down in that basement and I just accept my fate until she gets home and, lets me out herself. Or I break her fucking door down and leave myself. Now, option number 2 was a little bit on the pretty dumb side, but, I want to get the fuck out of there at this point. I was not having a good time. And it was a very thin door, so I knew I could
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm staying there the whole time, bro. I don't know if I'm staying
kick
there
it
the whole
down with
time.
enough tries. So I went upstairs and I picked
Hey!
option 2, and I started kicking that fucking door. And within like 4 kicks, a big fucking hole went right through the bottom of it, and my foot went through it. And I was able to reach through the bottom of the hole and then put my arm up and unlock the door from the other side.
Yeah. The fact, yo, wait, I gotta figure out if she really left.
Let myself out. And I go into her kitchen. I grab a zebra cake out of the pantry, start eating that because
Go grab the zebra cake after breaking the door.
your boy was a little bit on the hungry side. And then I texted her a photo of her broken door with just a laughing emoji. And then I left her house and I walked home. And the whole rest of that night, she was spamming my phone saying I owed her a door, that I was going to pay for it, that she told her parents what I did. And I
Yo, did you tell them what you did?
just proceeded to ignore her the entire night and let her, live with the fact that she would be coming home the next morning to a broken door. And the next day rolled around, and I texted her back finally and said, we're done. I'm breaking up with you. No sane person locks their boyfriend
Nah. And goes to work for real. She actually went
in
to
a basement when they have a disagreement. I don't want to know what you would do next time we have a disagreement, so I'm just going to
Good
end
man,
it here.
good mans.
Also, why don't you tell your parents why I broke their door?
Yeah.
And then maybe they'll understand why I did what I did. I'm not buying you a new one. Goodbye. And I blocked her. And I literally never heard from her again.